his name and picture is going to be on the ballot. I remember the first time he attended, somebody was like, now Akwasi Konadu at the parliament. Akwasi Konadu, good morning to you.
David, good morning. It seems your voice is very, very far away.
I'm trying to work on it. Is it better?
Okay, sure. I'll try and manage with this.
Charlie, congratulations to you.
Thank you very much, David.
All right, so Manhyia North, the delegates have spoken. Now you have been re-elected to represent the constituency. How's the feeling like for you, knowing very well Collins Owusu-Mankwa came back trying to win the seat back, and knowing again that you are the guy that the delegates have chosen to represent the constituency? How's the feeling like, and what do you think did the work for you?
David, let me first say a very good morning to you and your cherished listeners, and most importantly to the people of Manhyia North Constituency. And to the delegates, as you've always said in Manhyia North Constituency, my thanks and admiration goes to them. The feeling for me, David, is humbling. I've lived with my people throughout all my political life, and for the past 3 years when they elected me as their second member of parliament for the constituency, I've lived with them well. We've worked together. So it did not come as much of a surprise to me, but I needed, David, to work harder and make sure that for everything that we started, we'll be able to consolidate and bring to a very good fusion. You see, David, if not for anything at all, we started with bringing the party together in the constituency, and I know my people have appreciated that. So based on that, I'm sure that is what did the magic. Because, David, we've lived well with the people. David, we brought unity to the constituency. We brought peace to the constituency. And most importantly, we bring in development, facilitating development in the constituency. So I believe in joining these four things, that did the magic for us. The first time in 2020 was a 5-vote difference between myself and my former member of parliament. And now it's over 100 votes. It tells you that there is something that we are doing right. We have to identify what we are doing right, consolidate on that, and also be able to bring on board other people to also become part of the whole process. And I know in this next term that I've been given, I think the onus lies on me to make sure that all of these things are done and done well. So, David, that is how the feeling has been for me over the past 2 days.
Akwasi, tell me this. I mean, you talked about development. What have you been able to bring to the Manhyia North constituency by way of development? What has your lobbying skills been able to bring to the people there?
David, there have been improved road construction in the constituency. Yes, we are not up to the level that we desire, because our desire is to have every single road in our constituency constructed tarred, so that at least would have some vibrancy of life in our constituency. There have been improved security. David, if you go into education, I mean, there have been improvement in the standards of education, and even in terms of the infrastructure of education. There are new school buildings that have been built, old school buildings repaired and re-roofed, furniture supplied to the schools, both students and their teachers, books supplied to these schools, computer labs that have been built in these schools. David, if you go to health, the construction of emergency centers, reconstruction of sanitation and water systems for our schools, and the provision of equipment that they would need in their labs and in their OPDs and in their maternity rooms. David, if you take only even these two areas, David, these are critical areas in every human's life. So if you're able to improve on the accessibility to schools, improvement in these things, and also in terms of health, David, yes. There have been bridges that have been constructed. I mean, these bridges, if you go to Quarry, the bridge has been down for over 7 years now. But thanks to God, the bridge is now under construction, and our contractors on site doing these things. We facilitated for the construction of an astroturf, so to be able to bring more dignity in terms of our recreational activities into the constituency, that is also being done. And I mean, even in terms of human capital development, they will be providing access to scholarships through the MP's share of the Common Fund and Get Fund for our people to be able to have tertiary education. Because if I am not there today, there ought to be quite more number of people than I am now in terms of even whatever quality that I hold, who will be able to hold the fort for us and maintain the standards and improve upon that. So, David, once you're able to do this and the impact is felt by your people, I'm sure they would always be rallying behind you. And you must also respect them, David. Respect is very key. You must also be able to give them a hearing mind and a heart to be able to accommodate whatever criticisms that come on board and make sure that within all of these criticisms and advice that you are being given, David, you take what is right and make sure that you implement what is right for your people. And that is working the magic for us.
Akwasi, I have followed your exploits, in Parliament, and I know your stand when it comes to the LGBTQ plus and all that, because you stand for morality, and you think that we should make sure that we protect the morals of this country. But looking at Ofurukrom, where Manhyia North, Krofrom, where there are issues of drug use and violence and all that, how do you intend to manage the situation and to bring an improvement there?
David, let me say, in the past 3 years, we've been able to mitigate the effects of all of these things. We have not been able to eradicate it. And as a human institution or a society, eradication of all vices is not possible. I mean, let us be frank with some of these things, because whatever the case is, we are human. But for us to be able to reduce it to the barest minimum, where its impact would be insignificant in our social and human fiber, that is what we are geared towards at. And this will call for us increasing our rate of trying to develop the human capital skills that we have, putting people into productive sectors where they will be able to find a means to cater for themselves and do not have idle times that will be used for that. That is where our attention is. That is why we continuously support people in trade, people who are doing their own handiworks, either through tailoring, either through seamstressing, hairdressing, barbering, shoemaking, and all other things that primarily takes the skills of men to play. And that is what we are going to also focus more in our second term. We've done part in this first term, and that is where our concentration and focus would be. Once we are able to develop people with their talent, their handiwork, put them into trade, I believe the idle time that they would get in participating in some of these activities reduces. Once that also reduces and they are something meaningfully engaged in, it will reduce the occurrence or the incidence of people entering into these things and its adverse consequences on the society. Yes.
Before I let you go, Akwasi Konadu, let me ask this question, because every human being has a plan, and we to a large extent, we want to work with that plan. There are some members of Parliament who have been there for 3 terms, 4 terms, and all. How many terms would you want to do in Parliament?
I cannot place a time limit on my ability. That will be determined by the effort that I put in and the response that my people give to me. I am here to serve a term, and after every term, I go for assessment from my people. Once the assessment gives me a positive indication of continuity, I would continue as much as when they would ask me that you've done your enough, you've done your best, it is time for somebody to carry on. It is not right to put a time frame on one's ability. Once the person is capable, competent, and continuously deliver the deliverables, you measure that person by his KPIs. And that is what I'm focused on. I'm focused on each step at a time. The first step, I have 1 more year to complete. I'll complete that assiduously and make sure that all that can be done within this 1 year is done. Once God grants us an opportunity again in December and we win, and also break the age of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, we would serve that term also. And when that term comes for an assessment to be made, we would avail ourselves for that assessment to be made. And our people will give us the verdict. Once they give us that verdict, we will continue as much as when we can.
Konadu, thanks very much for your time with us this morning. But
Thank
enough of talking to you on
Dave.
the phone. I need to have you with me in the studios of Love 99.5. All right? Let's have a conversation.
Thank you very much, Dave. We will continue.
All right. Now, Akwasi Konadu, and he